2022 Subaru WRX is here. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the controversially ugly. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We got to talk about this WRX because there is a whole lot of new stuff going on, some of which is good, some of which not so much. So good thing is whole new vehicle. We got new power plant, we got new transmissions, new trim levels. There's a lot to talk about in the pro side. There is a lot to talk about in the con side too, but I'll tell you what we're going to talk about first is the looks. The looks are the most controversial part right now, and I need to know what your comments are down below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Or maybe you just need time for it to grow on you. So here's what we got. I want to get the elephant out of the room right away. This has potential to be a good looking car. Unfortunately, it looks highly unfinished to me. And again, perspective here. Everyone has a different opinion. Everyone likes different things. So maybe this is your cup of tea, maybe it's not. Personally, I feel like this thing just looks unfinished. It has way too much plastic. As a matter of fact, it reminds me of a lowered Crosstrek. And I know I've heard other people say the same thing before. I have to agree with it. The thing that bothers me, I think, the most is the very awkwardly shaped fender flares. The flat black fender flares on this thing look so out of place. Again, that's strictly opinion. You know, if it's your thing, let me know down in the comments if it's your thing. The front bumper, not as bad, but even that's got more plastic than the Crosstrek. And then we're gonna go to the back. The back has incredible amount of plastic. Like it literally half of the rear end is black plastic. It looks totally unfinished. So this is my biggest pet peeve here is all the plastic. Maybe if you got the car in all black, it would mask all of the plastic and you wouldn't notice it as much. And then maybe it would be a good looking car. But in any other color, it just stands out so much that I just can't get my eyes away from it. The taillights, obviously they took them straight off the BRZ. The rear end does resemble a Honda Civic. Again, that's something that's been said multiple times, and yes, I can see it. But the taillights they snatched them out of the parts bin for the BRZ. The deck lid and the little duck spoiler on there, I like it. That part's a good design. Overall, if we could take all that plastic away, let's paint it, all right? The whole thing's the same color. It's not a bad looking car. I kind of like it. The front end is like much more mature. It's refined. It looks good. I like it. The rear end's questionable though for me because it has this super high diffuser and it comes almost all the way up to the bottom of the trunk lid and it just doesn't look right. It looks out of place. Like they went too far with it. Now I'm going to say something that maybe some of you may not agree with, so I'm going to throw it out there now. Being I'm from that era, this to me looks like a 90s body kit that someone never painted. Someone put a 90s body kit on a car and never painted it. I used to see that a lot. That's what this reminds me of. Again, maybe if we got the whole car in black, hid the fact that it's all plastic, it would look a lot better because overall the design isn't bad. I like it. It's just, I feel like they dropped the ball. But obviously I want your opinion down below. Mine is literally just my opinion. I mean, maybe you love this design. Maybe this is right up your alley. And if it is, please tell me. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but this is something that's being highly talked about right now. And I'm on the opposing side of the fence, unfortunately. It's just not something that's really grabbing me. Now let's talk about the good things, which is the powertrain, because we've gotten rid of that 2-liter boxer engine. And now we have a 2.4 that is coming out of the Subaru Ascent, but with a different turbocharger. So the 2.4 that's going into WRX is actually an electronically controlled wastegate, upgraded turbocharger, and bypass valves that will offer better power production. Now what that equates to is 271 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Now I know that doesn't sound like a lot because it's only a 3 horsepower bump from the previous gen WRX. And you would think more displacement, more torque, but yet we're still sitting at 258 pound-feet of torque. I'm a little confused on this too. I thought it would be a lot higher, probably more around the 280 range is what I was expecting, but that's not so much the case. Subaru is saying that you will get a much broader torque curve though, and it's going to kick in a lot sooner, giving more low end and so on and so forth. But on paper, it's really just not adding up. Bigger engine, only 3 horsepower more, no change in torque. It doesn't make any sense. Obviously, the aftermarket world is going to have something to say about this and tuning it and everything else, and they're going to get more power. I'm wondering how much of this power is being bottled up by Subaru. Like, how conservative are we being on the tune and the boost? Either way, if you're not in the tuning, this really isn't a big improvement. It's not really an improvement at all. I don't have weight specs, unfortunately, but if it's heavier than the outgoing gen WRX with only 3 horsepower and more, obviously it's going to be slower. So that's something we have to take into consideration too. Now, the good thing is though, it's got a revised chassis. It has 6-speed manual transmission standard, which obviously you got to have that. And if you are one of the people who want a CVT transmission, they have improved that as well. And before you start jumping on the CVT guys, 25% of WRX buyers recently have been buying the CVT transmission. That surprised even me. So 25% is still a good amount of people that bought the CVT. And it's been dubbed the Subaru Performance Transmission. Now this CVT will give you 30% quicker upshifts and 50% quicker downshifts. So that should add a lot more responsiveness and a lot more fun if you are to go that route. Now, one other thing there is to note is that this new WRX is going to come with equal length headers. Now what that means is that you're not really going to get that Subaru Boxster sound that you're used to, that you're going to have to go to aftermarket for again. So probably better performance, but different sound that you may or may not want. Now you are going to get McPherson struts with a multi-link suspension, and Subaru says that it's going to have 28% stiffer overall torsion rigidity and 75% stiffer suspension mounting points. Now this is going to have a longer suspension travel, and handling should be significantly improved through a dual pinion. Now you're also going to be able to get a GT trim with the new WRX, which is going to be the top of the line trim level, and that's going to come with electronically controlled dampers, adjustable steering feel, multiple SI drive modes and settings which you can control those dampers, and the electrical power steering system, as well as getting new Recaro seats, 8-way adjustable with an ultra suede insert. But here's the downfall. If you were to get the GT trim with all these nice fun goodies, it's only available with the CVT transmission. Now, I have no idea why Subaru would do this. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Top trim level with the electronic dampers and all the fun driving stuff, including the SI drive modes, which are not available in the standard WRX. Only in the GT trim is only available with the CVT. Now, I don't know if this is Subaru's way of forcing people to buy the CVT and get more sales from that, or what the deal is, but GT trim only available in CVT. So my big question to you would be, is all the fun stuff that comes with the GT trim worth going over to driving a CVT transmission? Now, that's a tough question. I want you to think about it and leave your comments down below on if you would drive the CVT that is new and improved. 30% quicker upshifts, 50% quicker downshifts. Would you drive that to get the electronically controlled dampers and all the fun stuff, drive modes that come with the GT trim? Now let's talk about the interior for a minute, and we'll go back to do some exterior stuff. The interior, all new design, looks really good. Nice 11.6 inch infotainment screen now. This looks fancy. I like it. Now the cool thing about this is you still retain volume and control knobs to go along with the touchscreen, Now you get upgraded 11 speaker audio system by Harman Kardon. That is optional. You have a nice thick flat bottom steering wheel with some faux carbon fiber there on the bottom spoke. It also looks like that faux carbon fiber, maybe it's real carbon fiber, I'm not sure. But until I can confirm, I'm going to say faux carbon fiber. It travels into the door as well as the steering wheel, as well as the center of the dash, mainly right in front of the passengers where you can see it the most. Definitely a good looking interior. I do like it. I definitely like the Recaro seats that come with the GT trim. I think they're really nice. It's a real shame they don't come in any other trim other than the GT trim. Oh, and I forgot to mention the CVT transmission vehicles will come equipped with the EyeSight safety feature. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the EyeSight package, then that does come with adaptive cruise control, lane centering, automatic emergency steering, and pre-collision braking. Now, if you don't get the Recaro seats, the standard WRX seats do look pretty cool. You got WRX written in the headrest. It looks like they're pretty well bolstered. They look comfy enough. I obviously can't tell you without sitting in it, but they look like they'll do the job just fine. But I think the interior looks cozy enough. I think they did a pretty good job with it. Overall, the car is okay. I think they did all right by it, but I definitely think they could have done better. It's nice that they put the bigger engine in it, but the lack of horsepower increase and torque increase is a little concerning. Like, I'm not sure why we have a bigger engine with only 3 more horsepower. Now, technically the same engine in the Ascent makes 260 horsepower, where this one makes 271. But the 2-liter that we got rid of makes 268 horsepower and the same exact pound-feet of torque. So I'm not really overly impressed here. Now I'm going to touch back in on the WRX in a later video with weight, dimensions, pricing, all the other specs that I don't have in front of me right now because I don't want to drag this video out too long and some information we just don't have yet. So I want your opinions down below, what your first thoughts are on the WRX. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you still on the fence waiting to decide? Let me know down below. Please drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button on the way out and the bell notification. I'm Kevin, and I'll catch you in the next upload.